One of the growing challenges with making laws about tech and the internet is something called regulatory capture. That's basically where the industries that are supposed to be regulated end up having a lot of control over the regulators themselves, usually because those agencies don't have the same technical expertise. Hi, this is Professor Grabowski, and this short video will cover how big tech is engaging in regulatory capture to shape cyber law. For example, tech companies might step in and say, hey, let us explain how algorithms or AI systems work. That sounds helpful, but if lawmakers rely too heavily on industry insiders, the laws that come out tend to serve corporate interests more than the public. Then there's what's known as the revolving door. People go back and forth between government and industry. A former FTC or DOJ official might get hired by a big tech company to shape policy from the outside. Meanwhile, people with corporate backgrounds are sometimes put in charge of the very agencies that are supposed to regulate their former companies. That can bring in useful expertise, but it also raises a lot of conflict of interest questions. And then there's lobbying. In 2024 alone, the biggest tech companies spent about $62 million lobbying in Washington, D.C. That's actually more than the annual budget of some of the smaller federal agencies that oversee them. Meta, or Facebook, for example, spent nearly $25 million that year, a huge jump from the year before. On top of that, tech companies and their executives are also major political donors. Between political action committees and individual campaign contributions, companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta spend tens of millions of dollars every election cycle. And some tech billionaires personally throw in staggering amounts of money to support the preferred candidates. Even with all this influence, the rules themselves are still messy. Laws around AI, data collection, and digital platforms often lack consistency, and the federal approach changes every time there's a new administration. Cryptocurrency is a good example. One administration encourages it, but another administration cracks down on it. The result is a system where companies often launch new technologies first and only worry about legal consequences later. When you mix that with heavy lobbying, insider hiring, and shifting government agendas, you can see why laws around digital tech often feel slow, confusing, or inadequate. And the public definitely notices. In fact, a 2024 poll found that 78% of Americans believe big tech has too much political power and influence. So that's the challenge of regulatory capture in tech law. Too much industry influence, not enough independent oversight. It's a big reason why laws about the internet often lag behind the technology itself. As future professionals and citizens in the digital world, it's important to recognize how these dynamics shape the rules that govern our online lives. Keep this in mind as we move forward in the course and look at other areas where technology and law intersect. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Professor Grabowski, and I'll see you in the next video.